Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It is another edition of In This Very Ring right here on A2G Radio. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. My name is Ritz, and joining me as he does each and every week, it is the mayor of Toasty Town. This is Butters.
What's up?
I hate it here. Well, it's actually, I was thinking about this as we were coming on the air, and that beautiful intro package that I made the audio for, was playing, and it's funny. It starts out with The Rock is going to WrestleMania. Could it be?
Maybe.
Very interesting that we're going to get into. We're going to talk about Rock and Cody from this past Friday night on SmackDown. We're also going to look at an Elimination Chamber preview. We've kind of touched on it a little bit over the last few weeks, but we're really going to dive deep into some predictions, some not history, but order of we think eliminations, entrances, different things like that. And then we're also going to dive into the tag team match, the unsanctioned match from that was announced last week as well. So, but I wanted to start off because we record this every Monday night right after Raw goes off the air. We take a few minutes, we get settled in, right? And we start, we hit the record button and we start going.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off to Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Bianca Belair, and Naomi for an incredible main event on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
You saw the change coming. I may not have seen it I honestly thought Jade was coming back.
Same. I did too.
I really they really positioned themselves for that here.
With all that interference, I really could have seen Jade come back and just
but also having it end the show. Ending the show told me the titles were changing. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
But having them end the show and then just the way some camera shots were set up, and because you watch this long enough and you pick up on these little nuanced things and you're like, all right, something's happening.
Yep.
And then there was just that feel because the show was kind of It wasn't the best Raw go home show before pay-per-view, but it wasn't the worst. I really liked a couple segments that
you would think they'd put a little more emphasis into it or a little more.
No, and we'll get into that when we start talking about Elimination Chamber. We'll really explain why. At least I'll explain why I don't think they needed to put more emphasis on anything more than what they did. I think they did just enough. But hats off to them. Incredible false finishes, back and forth. Wasn't really all that sloppy. Which you do tend to find a little bit in some of these tag team matches lately, just a little bit sloppiness back and forth. But overall, phenomenal job by everybody involved, even Dominic, that dirtbag. But we're really here to talk about, oh God in heaven, we're really here to talk about this Cody Rhodes Rock promo from Friday night. Which, first of all, before we get into any aspect of it, I didn't pay attention Friday because I don't have cable, right? So I have to wait for it to hit on Hulu or YouTube or something to watch the segments, right? Which is fine. It's what I choose. It's actually how I prefer to watch it. And I didn't realize this thing was almost a half an hour long.
Yep. Because I rewatched it when I got home.
I rewatched it tonight in preparation. Up until a certain point.
Friday night because I didn't get to hear it because I was at the shop.
No, I watched on YouTube. They have the full segment on WWE's YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like 26 minutes long. First of all, that's way too long. And when you really watch it, The Rock does the entrance. Now, I don't know if they went to commercial at all or any given point. It doesn't sound like they did. But that entrance was 6 minutes before he starts speaking. because the video starts right as the "if you smell" and the place goes bananas.
Trying to become the Undertaker.
Right? It was. I think, granted, they did that little bit with the. Oh my God, who was the artist? Jack sent it to me. Hold on, let me pull that. I don't want to be wrong here. It was a Lil Wayne song.
You lost me at Lil Wayne.
But no. So he does that. Then it goes into his music, and he comes out, and he's very baby face here. Places chanting Rocky, Rocky, Rocky on bananas. Right? He's taking pictures. He's high fiving people. He goes down. He does the arm up, and then he sees somebody drop their phone, so he comes down, and it's over the top. Like you could have just hopped out of the ropes and gotten it and gotten back up, you old bastard. But no, you walked down each step, you walked around, handed it to the man, walked around, walked back up each step, got through the ropes, and then did your other pose on the other side of the ring. Okay. But then he just sits there, and it's almost awkward because his music is still playing. He hasn't the microphone up to his mouth yet. Right? Like he's just sitting there, and it's weird. And he goes into, finally, and he does this whole back and forth with the crowd, and it's very babyface. And because it's it's very babyface because they're announcing WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans.
Woot woot!
Which is awesome for me. Because if you've heard me on this show,
yeah,
we just lost Butters. If you've heard me on this show, and you've seen us talk about it, this, that, and the other thing, one of my favorite WrestleMania trips was the trip to New Orleans, and really, I only like New Orleans if I'm there for wrestling, which is a whole other story for another time.
Really? I mean, I've never been to New Orleans myself, but you only like it for WrestleMania?
Yeah, I've been a couple different times.
Gotcha.
It's not my vibe. Now, granted, and Jax will attest to this. When I went for WrestleMania 34, I was not the same. I had a lot going on. I was not the same person I am now. I had a lot going on. I had a lot of just personal struggles I was dealing with and battles and under a lot of stress. So I was very much just somebody of, oh, you want to do that? No, that doesn't interest me. Yo, you want to go party up and down bourbon? That doesn't interest me. Right? Does partying up and down bourbon now interest me? No, not really, because we went back and I tried it without the cornucopia of wrestling fans, and I was, right? Just too many damn people. But anyway, right? But then he starts singing the Saints Will March In, and this is where you start seeing him bringing out the heel stuff, because this isn't sing along with the final boss and all these different aspects, and it leads to a call out of Cody Rhodes, and the man repeats himself. This guy's like putting cookies in an oven. Right? You've preheated the oven. That's his walk to the ring. Right? And then you've started baking the cookies. Like you put the cookies in. That's kind of him starting to talk. And then you bring Cody Rhodes out, which is taking the cookies out of the oven. And the cookies are kind of done, but they're still kind of doughy at the same time. And so they should probably go back in, but you're like, screw it. We're gonna serve them anyway. And everybody's really confused on what's in front of them, because it's like a floppy, gooey, doughy mess. That was what I saw Friday night. Right? It took him a while to get ramped up to where he started making sense and wasn't talking over himself. Right? Because he kept saying, we've been friends for, we've become really good friends. No shit. And then he was like, you got to see our moms. And we go to this rant, which they don't even show. They don't even put the thing up on, like, your screen. You know how they cut to the Titantron? At least on the YouTube video, it doesn't cut to the Titantron, which is really weird. And he's like, that was right after WrestleMania. Oh, the WrestleMania when he beat your guy. And the WrestleMania were the night before, you whooped his ass pillar to post. But hey, our moms are cool with each other. So were you guys just like two kids arguing over whose turn it is in the sandbox? Right? Is that what just happened here? Anyway, I digress. No, I don't. But we're still gonna keep going here. And then he starts talking about how, Cody, I want you to be more than the champion that you are. Instead of being, oh no, I'm sorry. Before that, The Rock essentially said he is God when it comes to WWE. Right? He's the board. He's the chairman of the board. What a way to say that he is chairman of the board without actually saying you're chairman of the board. Because as soon as those words, I'm chairman of the board, comes out of that man's mouth, everybody's going to look at him and go, ha ha, jacked up Vince. Spray tan Vince. Right? That's what will happen. Because that's the character you're trying to create here. And it's so prevalent as this conversation keeps going, as this promo keeps going. And, you know, he's director of the board, and he's friends with the guy who owns everything. And the guy's like, Rock, you own WWE, and screw Triple H and Steph. I mean, to hell with them, right? And all these little facets of it. And he goes, Cody, I don't want you to be our champion. I want you to be my champion. And Cody Rhodes has this look on his face of like, huh? Like, good on for Cody. He truly looks at him with like, are you high? Did you drink too much Terramana before you came out here? Are we in Colorado and I missed it?
Are we still drinking on the bus?
Yeah, like, and Cody goes, and again, saying people's champion without saying people's champion, he goes, Rock, you more than anybody should know that I'm their champion. And some more weird dialogue going back and forth, essentially saying I can open different doors for you and your family. And it leads to The Rock looking at Cody and going, I want that. And he points at Cody. Cody thinks it's for the title. And he goes, so wait. And I love Cody. Cody goes, so you mean to tell me this whole thing is just because you want my title? It's the biggest, like, are you fucking kidding me? And The Rock goes, no. I want your soul. Hashtag sell your soul to the devil. Is essentially what's happening here. Tell me this is WrestleMania 17 without telling me it's WrestleMania 17. There's so many cliches here. So, Butters, and we don't do poll questions anymore. But I got to ask you, buddy. This isn't an agree or disagree statement. What the hell did I watch, and how do you interpret it?
I interpret it as The Undertaker came out and talked to Cody. I mean,
yeah, see, that wasn't funny.
I know. I'm never funny.
No, not really. It's kind of sad.
I laughed to just, up my... Yeah,
it's like liking your own post on Facebook.
That I don't do.
Thank God. Continue.
Dear Lord. I think it's essentially The Rock asking Cody to just come to the dark side, basically. Give me your soul, to your point, deal with the devil, and everything you could ever want and achieve is all handed to you on a silver platter.
So question number 1. the hell does Cody want?
Cody's got, I mean, as far as I know,
What
Cody's
the
got it
hell
all.
does he want to achieve? Like, this is what I didn't get about it. You're looking at the guy who is sitting at the top of the mountain, holding the brass ring,
Who's held the title this long,
and looking down upon his minions and saying, "Fight me." And you come down from your perch on high. You stare at this man eye to eye. And you go, "I will give you the world." This guy is the world. This guy is at the top of the world. There is no higher point than him. He could box God.
the only thing I could think of is The Rock's thinking that whoever wins Elimination Chamber, Cody's not going to be able to beat. So he wants to get Cody in now and tell him, hey, I can help you out.
Okay.
You give me your soul.
Who could Cody not beat on that list? Legitimately,
let's see. Cena? Who else is in there?
Hold on. Stop. No disrespect to John Cena or the walking crop circle. But you can't tell me that Cody, essentially still in his prime, can't beat John Cena, who hasn't really wrestled, who isn't really wrestling. I mean, this is essentially a match of 3 full-time guys versus 3 part-time guys.
Mm-hmm.
We'll break down the match later, but what is happening here is The Rock is trying to cement Cody as his champion. Why? And this feels like the Rock promo now.
And more of a corporate stooge now?
No. Here's why, and it just came to me as I'm rattling these things off. What is the one thing that Cody Rhodes has done that not many people can say they have done?
Beat Roman Reigns?
Beat Roman Reigns. Thank you. And what does Roman Reigns hold right now?
Nothing. The Ula Fala.
The Ula Fala. What does the Ula Fala mean in the Samoan culture? In the WWE world. I don't know if it really means that, but it's what right now.
Tribal chief, head of the table.
Correct. And what is The Rock?
Top of the mountain in WWE.
No, The Rock is a high chief.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm Dwayne, right, I need a champion that can beat Roman because I know my ring-rusted ass can't do it. And I don't want to do it because I'm the high chief and I need a champion, a gladiator to go into the arena and fight for my prize. My one-man army.
Mm-hmm.
To take the Ula Fala off Roman Reigns and for me to rightfully sit at the head of the table within my family and not have to acknowledge Roman or Solo and bring the family back together under one banner, one flag flown, and return themselves to a dominant, hell-raising unit.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what we get out of this, then I'm okay. If I get anything short of this, I will probably hate it. Because it's it's Austin McMahon at 17 in Houston. And we all know how well that turned out.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the IWC and Pete Evans
it'd be really hard.
Have been calling for a Cody heel turn.
I know, but it'd be really hard to. I mean,
how?
I feel like it's Cena all over again with the whole heel turn.
Watch back Friday night and tonight on Raw when he has that interaction with Seth.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Cody's mannerisms specifically, and in the back of your mind, think about him being the bad guy in the situation. And I'm not talking about the way he dresses. I know Pete wants to stand on his soapbox, and that's what he wants to say is the reason why Cody's going to turn heel. Because the guy wore a 3-piece suit to the ring.
Not every heel wears a 3-piece suit to the ring.
To the ring?
To the ring.
You said rung.
I said ring. I just mumbled.
But
not every villain wears a 3-piece suit to the ring. You can't call it how they dress.
Most do, right?
But
most
you see plenty of faces that wear 3-piece suits and not.
Name one.
I can't off the top of my head.
Thank you. Shut up. It's not a telltale sign, but it's a telltale sign, right? You're not going to say, oh, he's going to stay a babyface. No. And I get it. He's trying to be different. Okay, fine. Whatever. But where was I going with this? God, your stupidity just totally derailed an entire conversation here. Damn it. No, watch his mannerisms, though.
I've seen his mannerisms. They do look a little like he's ready to just go ballistic and turn.
Mm-hmm. And that little spat he had with Seth Rollins tonight, where Rollins is kind of pleading with him, don't do it. I think it's going to come down to Rollins, and I don't know if I like this, Rollins winning the Elimination Chamber, going to WrestleMania, Cody turning on Rollins. But I also think we're going to be set. This is how you get Cody heel if Cody's going to go up against John Cena.
Yeah.
Which is what everybody's kind of leaning towards. And Saturday will be very telling. Like, the road to WrestleMania is paved. It's finalized, essentially, come Saturday, at least for your major storylines. And this is a major storyline. Yes. They pulled Cody out of that 6-man tag team match, made it a regular tag team match, just so he could do this half-hour segment with The Rock. And The Rock said, not every story has to culminate. Like, if you watch the SmackDown media scrum that they did afterwards, he says not every program has to end with a match.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no intention right now of Cody versus Rock. So this is truly The Rock being the puppet master, letting Cody turn heel. Rock doesn't have to be around all the time because Cody can talk. Rock can be on the phone. Rock can send videos that look like they're FaceTiming each other, right? Text messages, phone calls, give him orders through social media to keep that side, like the pulling the string side of it, alive. It's going to be one of those things, and I say it every year. I say it every year as we get close to WrestleMania. I'm going to trust that they know what they're doing, but I am apprehensive because it's either going to be really, really good, or it's going to be a big, steaming, stinking pile of dog shit.
I mean, You got a 50-50 chance.
You're a man of so many words.
I know. But I think Triple H has some sort of a vision that isn't a big pile of dog shit.
What do you think it is? Like if you had to lay out, walk me through, right? Walk me through Saturday to WrestleMania Saturday.
My only thing is this. Roman's not in the chamber. How do you get Roman into this storyline?
Why do you need Roman in the storyline?
To what you're talking about, having Cody be Rock's, person.
But you're not setting that up for WrestleMania. Right? You don't set up Cody Roman at WrestleMania because you have to have this Elimination Chamber match. Right? Mm-hmm. So you have to do Cody Cena.
Unless Cody wrestles both nights. Again.
I doubt it. But let's assume you do Cody Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's Cena kind of bring Cody back to the light side, and Cody beating the brakes off of John Cena. Right? That kind of cements himself and doing it disrespectfully will cement himself, because that's what you're going to have to do. Even if he walks out Saturday and accepts The Rock's offer, it doesn't automatically make him a heel. He's going to have to do heel things.
Which starts at Mania. To your point, it starts at Mania, beating the brakes off of John Cena, the idol.
So I go back to, if you don't, and because you dodged my question, and I'm not letting up on this, right? If you think there's a different plan, take me from Saturday at Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania. You don't have to go week by week, but what are some things that happen here?
I mean, Cody accepts the offer. Cena wins Chamber.
Okay.
Now you have the last match of Cena for potentially what could be the last title match he could ever, he'll ever have. Because we don't know how the rest of the year is going to go.
Right.
Now Cody is on the Rock side. Rock is giving him everything he needs, everything he wants. You see this slow heel turn up until Mania. At which point he beats Cena in heel fashion, a la Vince Stone Cold and The Rock bullshit. And we all know people don't want to see it, but we're going to see it again because it's wrestling and we always reuse everything.
Right.
At which point, here cements Cody's heel turn, and John Cena is now this broken legend that didn't get what he wanted because he lost to the heel tactics.
So you think it's the same damn thing I just said? Go back to when I first posed the question. You said you think Triple H has a different vision.
No, I just said his vision isn't going to be dog shit.
But it can be if you don't do it right. On paper, it could sound absolutely great. Right? But execution is everything. And that's the point I'm trying to hammer home here. This is
true.
We can write out exactly what we just talked about. But if they go out there and if they don't perform, if you go out and have another promo like you did Friday night with The Rock, where it was a lot of going around in circles and it was too long and it was all these little critiques that we can take from it. If you do that every week, no one's going to be as invested because it's going to become too predictable.
Yep.
Right? And that's the point I'm trying to make here is it's either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. On paper, it's going to be great. I'd like to think on paper it sounds great. Right? It's just going to come down to execution. It's going to come down to, can they pull it off? Right? Can they do it the way that they want to do it? Because you're not going to have The Rock every week like you had last year.
Correct.
So how are you going to make it different? How are you going to make that influence stick? And what does The Rock have in his schedule coming up, which we don't know, that he could take Cody to and kind of show him that other side of the coin, that high life, that final boss life, right? That you kind of, The Rock's kind of promising for him. I don't know. Right? I don't know what that looks like. And that, so am I excited? Kinda. Kinda. Saturday's really going to be telling. Saturday is really going to be something to where, yes, we're going to be watching to figure out who's going to face Rhea Ripley, who's going to face Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also going to be watching with that mindset of, will Cody agree to The Rock? If Cody doesn't, then what happens? Then how does The Rock stack the deck for Cody going up against whoever he faces at WrestleMania? And how does that person react to the odds being stacked against Cody? If you have somebody like a John Cena, that doesn't work really well, but then that positions Cena to potentially have a back and forth with The Rock along this run, and or is it Cody versus CM Punk, right? How does CM Punk react, and Seth Rollins and Logan Paul and Damian Priest? You essentially tell 3 stories through this. You tell the Cody and Rock story, the Cody versus his WrestleMania opponent, and then this still has ties back to the bloodline because of Rock and Roman and what that Samoan dynasty and that power and that control, how will that influence that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? How will The Rock having a champion influence the struggle for power essentially within the fractured bloodline? So if you don't watch Saturday, you're
gonna miss out on something big.
Exactly. Speaking of Saturday, let's get into Elimination Chamber and let's really put some focus on kind of how we think each match is going to go, how we think the eliminations are going to go, those kind of aspects. And since those will be kind of longer form conversations, let's start out with Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia Jax, Candice LeRae. First of all, I love Tiffany and Trish together. Wrestling styles are very similar.
Looks are very
no, but take that out of it for a second, right? Because I can do a whole show on just that. But Tiffany and Trish, their styles mirror each other so much, and kind of how they came into the business as far as like the heel tactics and the face turn and all these other things really kind of complement each other. I'm sorry. Like Tiffany is the opposite of what Trish was. Because Trish was, she came in as a beautiful valet, the beautiful manager for Test and Albert. She also had that kind of I'm gonna whoop your ass mentality if it comes down to it.
Yep.
Whereas Tiffany came in as this, pretty diva and
daddy's girl.
Yeah, this high class, this old money kind of mentality. And so seeing them now on this face level going up against Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, who Tiffany has had many issues with, right? You could almost blame Candice for Tiffany becoming the face and credit Candice for Tiffany becoming the face. And Nia is just Nia. And what role does Charlotte Flair play here? Knowing that Tiffany will face Charlotte at WrestleMania for the title, does Charlotte get herself involved? I mean, Butters, what do you think happens in this match on Saturday?
So I think Tiffany and Trish are winning it. I think Candice is taking the pin. Charlotte doesn't get into anything until after the match is over. We're not going to see any interaction with Tiffany or Charlotte Flair until after the match, because we're just going to focus on Tiffany and Trish, mostly Trish. You know, she's back. You know, another match. Like I said, Candice is taking that pin, and Nia's going to be pissed. Nia's going to be furious.
So I'll disagree with you a little bit, because I think that you have to have Charlotte get involved. You can't just have her come out and not do anything, right? Because then she's gonna have egg on her face at the end when Trish and Tiffany win. Like, why did she come out? What was that purpose for? Right? Get involved in the match, get the upper hand, start weaving yourself into Tiffany's life. Right? I do think that I don't think Candice takes the pin. I think that it's a disqualification. I think Trish will be highlighted very, very well. Not because she's Trish, but because they're in Canada. Right? You're in Canada. You're playing to the hometown crowd. That's why they would end up getting the win, even though Charlotte got involved. I don't think she lays out Tiffany per se, but she gets involved.
I just don't think she's coming out until after the match is over.
No,
just
mind
confront
games.
Tiffany then.
Mind games. I think she comes out halfway through the match. Right? I think you mind games it. And Tiffany could win clean, and then have a stand down staring at Charlotte, because every time Charlotte makes a point, every time I come out here, you're flat on your back kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte made that comment on SmackDown. So you have an opportunity here for Tiffany to gain back a little bit momentum that I think she's sorely missing, I'm sorry, in this program with Charlotte. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, unsanctioned match. First question.
Why
Adam Pearce said it last week. This could be the end of Sami Zayn. And then we get a report earlier today that Sami's in contract negotiations with the WWE. Unsure of when his contract is up. We know he did sign a multi-year deal in 2022, but that could have been a 3-year deal for all we know.
Yeah,
and
that's multi-year.
His contract could be coming up.
Exactly.
And while he doesn't see himself going to AEW, could this be a way for Sami Zayn to ride off into the sunset?
I mean, it could be, but I don't see Sami leaving, period. I really don't see Sami leaving. I just think this somehow, some way, sets up for KO Sami at Mania.
I think in order for that to happen, you would have to have Sami win here, because this story doesn't work if Kevin Owens isn't what's the word I'm looking for here? Borderline psychotic.
Blaming everybody.
Yeah, like you need Kevin Owens to be in that mentality, in that mindset.
Now, you could set it up if KO was to win. You could set it up for Orton's return and have KO Orton at Mania.
You could.
With, Kevin getting the win, and then the post-match just beating down Sami, because it's, it's unsanctioned. What happens, and nobody's going to stop it. And
Correct.
Here comes Orton to stop it.
Correct.
Because he wants, payback for KO at Mania, or he wants payback for KO from what he did to him, and I could just see it Saturday.
There is some writing on the wall for that, but is Randy ready? I think is a big question, and I don't have the answer for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I would really like to see Sammy win here because, like I said, I think there's more to the story. I think there's more matches that can be had. They can do more against each other. We know they can.
We've seen it multiple times.
And we're just kind of skimming the surface of this brutality that we have not really seen from either man in their matches. Their matches have been usually pretty calm, cool, collective.
You only see that kind of violence between them two on the indies.
Well, not even just that. It's the violence between them when they're facing other people.
True.
Right? That kind of stuff hasn't really been geared towards them at this, juncture. Let's go to the women's Elimination Chamber match. Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, Roxanne Perez. Who do you have coming out first? Like, who do you have starting the match? And who do you have winning the whole damn thing?
I think you have Bayley Roxanne starting this off.
Fueling from their NXT
Yes.
feud.
I see both of them getting eliminated some way, somehow, one by the other. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Roxanne eliminate Bayley, period.
Okay.
Bianca, Naomi, they're out. They're some way, somehow.
Stop saying some way, somehow, right? Like
I know.
I guess my point to that.
I think it's going to come down to Liv and Alexa. I don't know who you would. You just put Alexa on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say you could. I mean, you couldn't, but you could have Liv Morgan win it and maybe defend the tag titles at Mania and, go for the Raw Women's Champion for the double title. But ultimately, I could see Roxanne Perez winning the whole thing.
Okay. I think you might have contradicted yourself at one point.
I think I might have too.
If I were a betting man here, I think you start off Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, maybe, or Alexa Bliss Bayley, and then you kind of feed into the different storylines that are happening here. Because realistically, you have the storyline between Bayley and Roxanne, and then you have the storyline of Bianca, Naomi versus Liv. And this is also where you could see, Bianca turn on Naomi and Naomi turn on Bianca. I would like to see Alexa win it out here.
Mm-hmm.
And go on to WrestleMania and take on Rhea. I think you could have a lot of fun with those matches.
A lot of fun with the lead up.
Yeah, but given that Charlotte, well, no, because Cody came over to Raw tonight, so I don't know. I was going to go with Charlotte facing Tiffany. They're both on SmackDown, right? Who's on Raw that could do this? But then you think about the only people that are on Raw are actually all of them except Alexa and Roxanne. And so you're like, all right, well, they all have little storylines building. No one's going to really need to go for Rhea. Bayley and Roxanne still have their beef. Alexa's the only one in here with nothing to do and have everything to gain. So
yep.
Alexa could definitely win here, go up against Rhea, have a great build, and have a great match at WrestleMania. And it's the only person I don't think that Rhea has beaten lately.
No, because Alexa hasn't been in what 2-3 years, or has it been longer than that?
About 2 years. So I don't think this incarnation of Rhea has beaten Alexa. I would have to timeline it, but I'm not sure.
Because you could have Mommy take on this gleeful, sadistic side of Alexa that's happy, but you got the supernatural thing going with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Alexa. To your point, everybody else has something going on storyline wise that would kind of keep them from winning it all.
And then when you look at the men's side, if I'm picking people to start it out, you have John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Seth Rollins.
You have Logan and Seth started.
I think Logan and Damian started.
I think what you do is you have Damian eliminate Drew. Drew comes back in, gets his revenge on Damian, gets him eliminated.
You got to remember that you have CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. They all have this weird love triangle.
Correct.
And so I could see Seth or Drew coming out first. The other comes out next. Then they both realize that CM Punk's coming out next. And the three of them have this tiff back and forth leading to the elimination of Drew McIntyre. And then I think Punk eliminates Rollins. Rollins freaks out, causes Punk's elimination at maybe the hands of Logan Paul after what we saw tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You could also start off CM Punk, Logan Paul. Ultimately, I have John Cena winning this.
Same.
But after tonight's interaction with Rollins and Cody, I could also see Seth winning this. And CM Punk going on to fight Logan Paul at WrestleMania. John Cena still with no...
Deep down, I want Cena to win this, but I could also see Punk winning it.
John Cena with no real path to WrestleMania still, right? And then him trying to get real creative with what he does that weekend. And that's Elimination Chamber, though. I mean, it's a short card. I think we're going to see the Chamber matches run really long. I think the unsanctioned match runs really long.
But I think we at least get 30-minute matches out of the two non-chamber matches, and maybe hour and a half out of the chambers.
Yeah,
I can see a good 3-4 hour pay-per-view on this one.
Potentially, it does have the potential to do it. So, Road to WrestleMania starts on Saturday. Well, I mean, it's already started, but you get a lot clearer picture come Saturday with the Road to WrestleMania. Because you also do have that Rock segment too, so that's 5 segments, right? The 4 matches plus the Rock segment.
Oh, that's right.
That Rock segment could take up a good chunk of time too.
That could be another 30-minute segment.
Yeah, all of his stuff since he's come back has been about 20 plus minutes, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you do have a lot of possibilities here. But that's our show. It's really all I got, unless you got something else.
Obafemi Moose.
Unpopular opinion, I don't care.
I don't know. I just, for some reason, it excited me to see Moose come out in NXT. And
I like the crossover stuff. I like when you see Obafemi come over to TNA and Moose come over to NXT and Cora Jade going over to TNA. Like, we're really starting to see them really trust this merger, not this merger, this bridge that they have between the two companies.
I think we start to see our Stand and Deliver pay-per-view build.
Yeah, you gotta start looking towards that. But there's also, I think, NXT Roadblock before Stand and Deliver.
Is there? Oh, I thought that might have been after. Dang.
No, I lied. It is the next one. Okay. But
I figure you have a lot of TNA versus NXT at Stand and Deliver this year.
No,
you make it big.
I know. Well, they're also talking about having Moose versus Obafemi at Roadblock, whenever that is, for both titles. For the TNA X Division title, which I can't believe Moose is the X Division champion, and the NXT championship, which is where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But
it'd be hard to see Obafemi as an X Division champion.
Yeah, I like the back and forth. I like the people coming over, people going back, different things. It's nice to see Obafemi go over there as the NXT champion, because we have seen Joe Hendry come over as the TNA
Mhm.
World Champion, and Jordan Grace when she was the TNA Knockouts Champion, or the TNA Women's Champion. I'm sorry. And now we're seeing Cora Jade go over there. Cora has an opportunity at their title. Cora could win that title, and there's a lot there, and it's fun. Like the Hardys are going to wrestle on NXT this week.
Yep.
WWE, future WWE Hall of Famers, they're going to wrestle for funsies on NXT but they work for another company. So there's a lot of
and
cool little things there.
The crazy thing is while they're working for TNA, you could technically right now with the crossover put them in the Hall of Fame this year if WWE wanted to.
Nah, I don't think they're going to put another. I don't think they're going to put them active if they're in another company. I don't see them doing that. I think Rey Mysterio was the fluke for putting in an active wrestler, just because it's Rey. And I think they thought he was going to retire, legitimately. But
that's all I got.
All right, well then that is it for us. We are going to be back here next week with some Elimination Chamber recap, and hopefully start building the road to WrestleMania, that WrestleMania card. Until next time, though, tell somebody you love them. Peace, love, and joy. We are out of here.